honestly,
yes,
in a small way has already happened in Arusha.
okay.
You know, where there is no justice, people will take to the streets.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for coming along in this first show of the year from KLH News International. Yes, this is the voice that dares to be different. I am your ever audacious and always entertaining and incredibly patriotic Tanzanian Mwanakijiji. Greetings, my friends all over the world, all you Tanzanians who still loves your country so very much, regardless of the challenges that the country is currently going through. And those of you, my friends, who continue unceasingly wishing her well. I mean, all of you who stand against corruption without compromise. I had a chance on Monday morning to speak exclusively and extensively with former presidential candidate and current Secretary General of Democracy and Development Party, Chama cha Demokrasia na Maendeleo, Dr. Willibrod Slaa, few hours before he departed for Shinyanga, where he would join the other national party leaders in a major demonstration against corruption in the country, in a series of such demonstrations that have started in Mwanza region just a few days ago, and now in Shinyanga, and later through the week they will be going to Kagera region. These are major demonstrations against corruption in the country, as well as calling for an accountable government, which is currently under President Jakaya Kikwete. I spoke with him on a number of issues of national importance, as you all know, and I hope I'll have a chance, sometimes maybe this week, to speak with the ruling party leaders to hear their responses. For until yesterday, I could not reach anybody to get an official response of Dr. Slaa's claims. My friend, as you all know, Dr. Slaa broke his left arm just a few weeks before general elections in October last year. So, first of all, I really wanted to know his condition and how the healing of his arm, the healing process is coming through. Here is Dr. Slaa.
Mwanakijiji, briefly, I should say my hand is improving.
Yes.
I think, unfortunately, I don't have much time for physiotherapy.
Yeah.
That is probably the only handicap at the moment, but otherwise the performance is good.
Okay.
The progress is very encouraging.
Okay.
But it has not stopped me from my day-to-day activities.
Okay.
And that is why we are in the left zone now, proceeding with our planned demonstrations as well as political rallies in the whole area of the left zone.
Okay, now this, as a matter of fact, this is one of the things I think I wanted to speak with you about. What are you demonstrating against, and or what are these rallies for? We have seen some of the pictures, we have heard a little bit, but would you just tell us why CHADEMA, the top leadership, is in the left zone right now, leading these rallies, you yourself, Honorable Boy, including, and a number of other MPs. Why are you doing these demonstrations? What are you demonstrating against?
Mwanakijiji, to be honest, I think there are a number of things that we have been saying through the normal political avenues.
Yes.
We have been saying the same things on the floor of the parliament a number of times.
Yes.
The government has given a deaf ear to all that is being said.
Yeah.
Although most of it is in the interest of our nation.
Yeah.
If you talk of issues of corruption, there are a number of grand corruption cases in no action is being taken by the government.
Yes.
And the latest is the case of Richmond Doan,
yes,
which we sincerely believe Richmond came in through corrupt means.
Yes.
And we know exactly how it came in, who was behind it,
Yes.
The president certainly knows who was behind it, and on a number of occasions the president has come out to deny he doesn't even know who was involved,
yes.
although the president chaired the cabinet meeting that approved the importation of the heavy equipment to generate electricity in the country through Dawans, which was stated by the Parliamentary Select Committee to be a fake company in Texas, Houston, USA.
Yes.
And of course, we are bringing on board now,
yes,
a number, including a government action, not only a statement now. We want government action to tell the people and to put back in the budget 155 billion shillings that has been spent or lost through Meremeta.
Yes.
And no explanation has been given. The Prime Minister has, on the floor of the House, categorically stated that he is not going to make any statement, even if his neck is going to be chopped off. Now, this kind of statements from the leadership has really made us now to go to the public, to ask the public who exactly owns this country.
Yes.
Is it the president? Is it the Prime Minister? Is it the ministers? Or are the people in control of their affairs, in control of their country, in control of all the resources of this nation? So we are trying to raise awareness among the people, and demonstrations internationally are known to be one way of sending a clear message to the incumbent rulers that what they are doing is not acceptable to the public. That is the whole purpose of the rally, of the demonstration, that culminates every time in a major rally at the regional capital, and the same is repeated at all the district capitals in the region. We have so far covered Mwanza region with about 6 districts in Mwanza. We have covered Mara region with about 6 districts that we covered yesterday. This morning we are moving to Shinyanga, and we are going to be covering about 7 districts in Shinyanga region. And the day after, we will be moving then to Kagera region, where we will have about 6 or 7 districts. And we will then close the first round of our demonstration and our rallies, and to go back to Dar es Salaam to prepare ourselves for the second round as the members of parliament prepare to go to parliament again.
But Dr. Slaa, some people will ask you that there was an election last year. Some people say, okay, CHADEMA lost and CCM won, and they'll say, why don't you wait another 5 years? Why now? It's only a few months after the elections. You haven't given the government a chance to act on a number of issues. Why are you demonstrating now, especially following what happened in Arusha earlier this year? What would you say to people who hold those views?
Mwanakijiji, thanks for that very honest question. It is true that the election last year, through what we say, was a rigged election, but that would not really have been an issue. I think there are several ways of looking at your question and responding to it. The first one is that political activity does not end up with an election. The end of one election is the beginning of the preparation for the following election. And the political activity continues day and night, whether we are in election or whether we are outside the election period. And that is, I think, what makes a political party, or that gives a political party a credibility that is needed. Our colleagues in the ruling party have always said, we don't go to the villages. Now we go to the villages, so you come up with another issue that now we are not giving the government enough time to work. So I think there are several ways at it, and those who are hit hard will always come up with negative perception.
Now
the second thing is that a number of issues that we are raising are really immediate. The issue of corruption, when it goes on and the government is sleeping, I think someone has to stand up whatever interpretation is going to be given, one has to stand up strongly against and condemn what is happening.
Yeah.
The resources that are being plundered by a few people, while the country is getting poorer, while the economy is being demolished right away now, particularly as we are now in the what we call the energy allocation, where for 2 or 3 days a week, a particular area does not get electricity or power. So as you may imagine, our factories have been badly affected.
Yes.
Once you affect production, you affect everything on the chain. So the prices of things have gone up. The living conditions of our people is being affected very badly. It is more than 100 days since the government came to power. It doesn't seem to be showing any priority at all in what it's doing.
Yes.
It doesn't show any direction to solving the problems in the country.
Yes.
So we cannot just stand back and look at what is happening while our country is collapsing.
Yeah.
That is why, as a registered political party, we feel the responsibilities to stand up. We feel the responsibility to tell the government we are now tired, and patience always comes to an end.
Yeah.
We have been waiting for a long time, and this long time will someday come to an end. But we don't want to come to an end when everybody is already too tired to be able to stand up. The issue of the ones which is going to be, as you know, there has been a debate in the last 3 months. So the whole of the 100 days of the current government has been occupied dealing with whether to pay or not to pay the so-called Doan's company for the equipment that was imported by Richmond. And we have said categorically, the equipment was imported into Tanzania through fraudulent means, and therefore the government had the obligation to nationalize that equipment and not to make any payment, irrespective of the ICC judgment, of the International Court, Commercial Court judgment. The award has been given, but as you know, everything in that award goes back to the origins of Richmond. It goes back to whether even Doan's was properly registered in the country, whether the transfer from Richmond to Doan's was properly conducted. All indications and all reports indicate that was done under the carpet. So it is for this reason that we see there is the urgency now, rather than waiting another 7 months when our 94 billion shillings has already been spent on something that we should really not be spending on. That money, if it is going to be spent on our hospitals, a lot of people will be saved. If it's going to the schools, a number of our children will be able to get good quality education. If it's going to pay the salaries of the teachers and the civil service, their living conditions will be improved, and therefore, if you improve the living conditions of the workers, you will motivate them to work even better, and therefore production in terms of service, in terms of production itself, will also be improved. So these are the reasons that have actually motivated us to take action now.
Yes, but Dr. Slaa, with the issue of Doan's, for example, there are those who believe that regardless of the judgment, regardless of the case that is going, the case that have been initiated in Tanzania, they are asking, why don't you just turn on the generators, put some electricity near the national grid, and just try to reduce the hardship that the industries are suffering. Like I just read the news, I think it's in Daily News this morning, that TRA is going to miss almost 850 billion in the tax base. Why don't you all agree that let us switch on the generators and then let us deal with the issue of the legality of Doan's or not in the future? But right now, the people need electricity. We have the generators in Ubungo. Why don't we just switch them on? Even as others have suggested, enter with a short-term contract with Doan's, maybe for 3 months or so, while you are dealing with issues in the courts. Why not switch on the generators?
Mwanakijiji, one has to understand the whole context before one can just come to that conclusion.
Okay.
The first thing is that we are paying enormously now billions of shillings in terms of capacity charge to IPTL, something that is costing this country and therefore losing money, resource revenue to TRA and to the country. The government was already told almost 4 or 5 years ago to buy outright the IPTL equipment. No action was taken.
Yes.
Already from 2001, the critical situation of electricity, of power in this country, it was already, no action was taken. In 2007, the government was categorically told equipment is available for purchase. You just have to do an international shopping.
Yes.
You don't even have to get it manufactured for you. There was no action taken. Everybody has been trying to rally around the issue of Richmond and Dowan equipment. We believe that this is, sincerely believe that this is part of the gross corruption that is still going on.
Okay.
We are at the door. The rains are now at our doors.
Yes.
You know that we are tomorrow starting March, and March is the beginning of the long rains in Tanzania.
Yes, indeed.
We don't want to go into contract for 2 or 3 months in the middle of the rainy season, when our hydro dams will already have been filled with water. Happened in 2006, 2007, when we brought in the same equipment, and it was never used because it was brought in at the beginning of the rainy season. We don't want to spend billions now. According to the figures that we are being accessed with, we are going to sign a contract. If we are to agree with the current arrangement to get into contract with Towans, about $400 million a month.
Oh, Lord.
With that equipment, we would be able to purchase new equipment, which is all ours. We shall have no liability to be paying capacity charge or whatever else, because it will be our property completely. This is the kind of negligence that we are trying to fight against. But the second thing is that we want now the government.
Yes.
The country has already lost. The country is now losing. We're losing again for another 2 weeks. It is better for the country to lose now for 2 weeks to get a permanent solution. We want the president to take strong action, to sack, to discipline all those people who have been involved in bringing the country to this situation. If the president does not take action, then we will demand that the whole nation rise up to really demand the president himself to be responsible for the lost status that we have gone into because of the negligence of his government.
Okay, is this what you are talking about when in Mwanza you gave the 9 days to the president, like you need to see some action within 9 days, and after 9 days, if nothing happens?
Exactly, this is what you are saying, that we want to hear the president come up with a statement or with an action, not only the statement, but with an action concerning those who have been completely irresponsible, who have made this country into such a loss that the TRA is losing now, that production has gone down and is still going down, and the country is almost at the verge of economic collapse completely. Now this is the result of an irresponsible government, and we as a responsible nation, the responsible political party, we cannot keep silent when we see that our country is collapsing.
Okay, now let me go to the question of the new constitution. The president came out, I remember in your manifesto, in your political platform for the election 2010, you guys put in there that if you were to have been elected, you would have initiated the process of the new constitution within 100 days, and you would have made sure that by 2015 the country has a new constitution, and the next general elections of 2015 they are done or they are held under that new constitution. But now the president and the CCM, the ruling party, have agreed in principle to embrace this idea of new constitution. but they've not committed themselves on the idea that this new constitution should be there before 2015. What is your position, you guys in CHADEMA? Are you willing to wait until 2020 or 2016 or 2018 to have a new constitution?
Our position is very clear.
Yes.
In our election manifesto, we had stated that within the first 100 days, the process will have started for the new constitution.
Yes.
I'm happy to say that with our pressure,
yes,
and the pressure of the general public in the country,
yes,
the general public, including academicians, NGOs,
yes,
and almost everybody is now shouting for a new constitution.
Absolutely.
The ruling party has been forced to accept this. They have seen, they have read the signs of times, and I'm happy to say that within the first 100 days, that process, at least in principle, the process has been accepted.
Okay.
The only thing now that we are demanding is that we don't accept the process that the president has proposed.
Yes.
We do not accept the proposal of the president in terms of a presidential review commission because of the bad experience that we have already had, yes, with the Nyalali Commission, which was a presidential review commission, yes, of the Constitution.
Yes.
Then followed the Kisanga Commission, which in 1998, which was also a presidential review commission.
Yes.
And both of the used what we call in Kiswahili viraka. That literally means patches. Mm-hmm. We do not anymore need any patches in our constitution. Yes. We want people's constitution, and therefore we must have a constitution that has been drafted, drawn, approved, and agreed upon by the population, and eventually endorsed by the so-called Constituent Assembly itself.
Right.
So we are demanding nothing less than that, but we are also demanding that this should happen before 2015.
Yes.
You very well know that I, as a presidential candidate in the last election,
yes,
would very well have gone to the streets with the public. I was being pushed by the public to go to the streets to reject outright the results of the last election,
yes,
because the election was totally rigged and everybody knows that, and the government knows it.
Yes.
But and according to our prudence, we said we do not want to take the country to that level.
Yes.
We put the demand to the country that what we need is not to go for a rerun of the election. What we need is to put in place mechanisms for elections that are going to be free and fair in 2015. Yes. A responsible government will listen to that, put in place the said mechanisms, and then we go to the elections.
Yes.
But if they do not want to go to the elections, we will push the public to force them to put the new constitution in place before 2015, because we do not want to see bloodshed in this country. The only thing that can save this country now is a new constitution that puts in place a free, independent electoral commission.
Yes.
That does not stand by the ruling party, that does not support the incumbent president, that stands for principles and for the laws that are free and fair.
Yes.
And that can only happen if we have a new constitution.
Yes.
We want also a new constitution that separates the powers of the army, of the police force, and of the special units, yes, from becoming the custodians of the ruling party. So, okay. At the moment, all those state organs are under the direct command of the ruling party and the president.
Yes, absolutely.
And that is exactly what happened in Arusha. That is why we have already experienced bloodshed in Arusha.
Yes.
That is why we have experienced bloodshed recently also after Arusha in there.
Yes.
So we want to avoid all this by having a new constitution that gives complete freedom, so that we can run a democratic election according to the classical definition of what democracy is.
Yes, but Dr. Slaa, right now you have seen the demonstrations in Egypt, in Tunisia, in Yemen, now in Oman, and mostly in very difficult ways in Libya. And some people will try to make connection what is happening in those Arab countries to what you guys are doing right now, and probably some people are feeling very uneasy. It's like, is this what is going to happen at the end? Are you guys going to push the government to the brink?
Mr. Manakijiji, let me say that what happened in Misri,
yes,
in a small way has already happened in Arusha.
Okay.
You know, where there is no justice, people will take to the streets.
Yes.
It already happened in Geita. It already happened in Shinyanga.
Okay.
It already happened during and in the middle of the elections, immediately after the results were announced.
Yes.
As you know, our laws do not allow to contest the election results in court of law.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, whether there is massive rigging or not, as it happened in Shinyanga, where our parliamentary candidate was announced, and then 5 minutes later, his victory was taken away, and the system candidate was announced by a victory of 1 vote.
Yeah.
Now, categorically, any person, even a school child, will understand that something has gone wrong there.
Absolutely.
So people took to the streets, they started rioting, and they started demonstrating. If it was not for the prudence of Dr. Slaa at that time,
yes,
Geita had already taken to the streets, Shinyanga had already taken to the streets, there they taken to the streets,
yes,
and they wanted me to call a nationwide protest and demonstration.
Absolutely.
I refused because I knew that this was going to lead to bloodshed, but I put a demand with my party that for averting the situation in Libya, in Egypt, in Bahrain, in Tehran,
yes,
and all those North African countries that are going through turmoil now. It is the responsibility of the government and the ruling party.
Yes.
They can only do so if they listen to the cries of the population,
yes,
if they positively act in respect of the demands that we are making,
yes,
because we are not, we believe, making selfish demands. We are making demands that are for the interest of this country.
yes,
The interest of this country cannot be in the hands of the ruling party alone.
yes,
We are all shareholders, we are all stakeholders in the interest of this mission.
yes.
We want to see peace in the country, we want to see stability in the country, but at the same time we can't let a few people ruin this over 50 years by our founding fathers.
Okay, but lastly, Dr. Slaa, if I may ask you, if President Kikwete has tried to reach out to you after the elections, or if indeed he decide like, okay, let us have a talk about the welfare of the nation or the steps ahead, are you willing and ready to sit with him and try to see what to do or what the next step?
Mr. Manakijiji, yes, we had already sent out signals,
yes,
a long time ago, actually immediately after the elections, that we are ready to sit down to discuss the issues, to sort out the problems, because this is the only country that we belong to.
Yes.
We were born here, we live here, we will be buried here. So if we destroy this country, we have nowhere else to go.
Indeed.
Everybody knows that.
Okay.
So has not given any data. Instead, in his statements, he has continued to be arrogant. He has nominated a minister. In Swahili, they call him Waziri wa Mahusiano.
Yes.
A very arrogant minister, Mr. Wasira.
Yes.
And as you may know, in the case of Arusha,
yes, indeed,
this man had gone to Arusha. He talked to the bishops. He called a meeting with the Muslim leaders. He called a meeting with CCM. And you know the issue in Arusha was a conflict between CHADEMA and CCM.
yes,
While he called CCM, he never even made an effort to contact CHADEMA leadership to hear the side of CHADEMA.
Yes.
And then he reported to the president, he reported to the prime minister, the result of which, as you know, is what happened in Parliament.
Yes, indeed.
Prime Minister completely misinformed, passed a judgment against CHADEMA, that CHADEMA was fully responsible for what happened. So this is a government that is completely irresponsible. The president is putting up people just because they are friends. He is putting up people because they have been helpful in rigging the elections. The people that are nominated for positions are not nominated for their merits. Now, yesterday I made categorically clear in Bunda that if by July Minister Wasira is still a minister in the president's office, by July we are going to take a very serious, strong action against Kikwete, because we cannot continue paying a minister who is not responsible, who is not effective, who is not doing what he is supposed to do, who is supposed to be a minister responsible for now making effort to contact us, but making arrogant statements outside. So we are going to take very strong action. I think you can clearly see that there is a clear indication from our side that we are willing to sit down, to talk, to discuss, but who can we talk to? Who are we going to talk to? And if there is nobody, then the only person that we can talk to is our public. It's the nation.
Thank you.
That is what we are doing now.
Oh, thank you very much, Dr. Slaa. Thank you very much, and good luck, you guys.
Asante sana mwana kijiji.
Asante sana.